Hmm. Man, the lighting is never my best friend. Okay, let's see here. Got earbuds right there, and my little drawing. What's interesting is that I kind of am now thinking that maybe I should have drawn this like on, I don't know. I want to say. I want to say on Valentine's Day, but judging by how I'm making the title appear, uh, the only thing I'm hoping for is I spelled obsessed right. So here's what we got. Yeah. Okay. Three, two, one, action. Hello, welcome back to my live. So for today, obviously, if you haven't seen like maybe a minute or so ago, I just started the sketch process and now I'm gonna be working my way up through the sketching out in the black pencil, basically. Okay. So basically, sorry, the lighting's very weird for me right now. I tried to find good lighting. I don't know. I feel like I need to talk about that more. I try to find good lighting pretty much like in any spot when I go live, but half the time it does not always work out for me. So, yeah. Hello. How are you today? So I am doing okay. So for today, basically, I am doing a drawing. I just sketched it out and yeah. So hold on. I will show you what I've gotten done so far, and that is basically, hold on. Hold on. I will say though, out of all my sketches, I think this is the first one where I'm kind of questioning where like I can make this like a cartoon character or something look. So like, hold on, just give me a moment and then you're gonna see what I mean. It looks good. Make it big. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm basically like making a giant figure on the well, basically I'm making a giant outline of this humanoid figure. Now for those who are just joining, yes, humanoids are basically, well, pretty much the only way I feel like I could ever make a person. So yeah. Um so please wish me luck on this. I don't know what to call it. I guess I don't know. Your skills are better than mine. I don't know. I think you're probably a much better artist than I am, and I feel like that's a fact. Okay. So, anyways, how is your day going, by the way? Or did I already ask you that? How's your day going? How's your day going, if I may ask? Um, Mine has been okay. So if you weren't here for my live stream yesterday I was talking about how I had I got in the flu last week on Monday, and I had nearly passed out at my job. I nearly passed out at work. But now I am healthy and, well, I'm better. Let's just say that. Okay. So here's what I got now. Yeah, so this, not gonna lie, this took me like a few minutes to make. Specifically to sketch out. Wow. And we're already hitting like 6 minutes into this live stream. Yeah. So yeah, but however though, I am gonna be working more on it. I am planning on doing like some little details to it, but tell me what you think. Like tell me if you like can see this being like a character. Tell me if like you would see this as like a character in like a weird TV show. I'm guessing. For me, yeah, most likely. It's awesome. Oh, thank you. Looks beautiful. Oh, thank you. Yeah, so pretty much the reason why I said obsessed with the hard eyes is because, well, pretty much anything I feel like someone can become obsessed with, they got hard eyes for it. That is all I can say. But yeah. Um, I'm just surprised that it didn't even take me like that long to like sketch out. And yeah, and now I'm going over with the red because, well, I want to see how this looks. So I'm going to be going at the hearts on the eyes, just so that way, because I want it to, I don't know. So, like, look at that. Hmm. Yeah, now, nice. Thank you. Yeah, not gonna lie, I feel like out of all the sketches that I've made thus far, live streaming, I feel like this one just seems to be like it took like not that much time to do. I think it's just because I decided to make the figure, the humanoid, a little bit much bigger in the drawing, so that way, obviously it takes up more space, but yeah. But obviously that also means like a little bit of my time is like, I guess, you know, like doesn't take that much. But I will say though, it does look a little nice. You tried your best at least though. Yes, I did. I tried my best. Because here's the thing though, half the time when I do draw something, it won't really like turn out the way I want to. I think that we have all seen. So if you've seen a few of my other live streams where I was either drawing or painting, you would know. You would know that sometimes when I do a art project on here, it does not turn out the way I want to. Let's be real. It does not turn out the way I want to, because here's the thing though. I don't know if anyone else does this, but in my head, okay, in my head, I feel like I have like the picture, like I know what I want, like I know how I want it to look, but then I see it like I guess completed or whatever, but then I'm just like, well, that didn't turn out the way I wanted. So, yeah. So now I am yeah. So, yeah, let's just say I've had a lot of paintings and drawings that were like trial, I guess you say like trial and error, really, because, sometimes a painting or a drawing turns out the way I want to, but other times a drawing or a painting doesn't really like plan out. You know what I mean? It doesn't really you know, I don't know, and I even like checked to see like what exactly did I do to mess it up? Did I leave out some space? Did I not like blend the colors well together? Like what did I do? You know, it's that sort of self-critique you do on yourself that when you're making something and you're just like, okay, it turned out okay, but then you start going over um all the details and you're just like, okay, so where exactly did I go wrong in this project? Just wondering. For real. Yeah. I'm basically someone who tries to like go over to see like what they had done wrong in doing something really, I should say. So like for example, if I'm doing like a class project, so what, okay, so this is actually an example. So when I used to do class projects back when I was in high school, middle school, elementary school, community college, whatever. If I was doing a project and I was going over everything that I know I'm supposed to do, and then I even like have it like point by point, but then at some point I discover like a mistake I did. I immediately go like, I mean, the first thought in my mind though is just that do I have to redo the whole thing? Like that was my biggest fear. So like for example, if I had a project that was like due in like 3 weeks and I had done the project for 2 weeks, but I noticed a mistake and the project is due like in 1 week, immediately if there's like any mistakes I did, I end up going just like, oh God, do I have to redo the entire assignment? Do I have to like break it down or something? Like that's basically the mindset I've always had whenever like I've made like the smallest mistake in a project. Um, and normally what that does is basically it makes me have really bad anxiety and soon enough I end up just like, yeah, I end up panicking, thinking I made a mistake or anything else like that. But yeah. But I mean, if I'm able to find the mistake, I then correct it. And I don't know why. I even like fear that I would fail an assignment or a project after I've like corrected the small thing that I had to fix. And yeah, I don't know why, but that was just always my mindset half the time. Like the smallest mistake I know is gonna like not end well for me. Let's just say that, okay? The smallest mistake I ever have done or realized that I did it without even noticing I did it, yeah, it will immediately set me like into severe anxiety. Well, you at least have your followers to keep you company. Yeah, and also some peers too. So, yeah. Okay, so here's what I got so far now. So at the top, basically, I tried to make it say obsessed. Yeah, obsessed. So, what was the reason behind this? Like I said earlier, I wanted to like make something that, you know, I don't know. I don't know why, but every time I think of the word obsessed, I always think of like those weird heart eyes, whether you're like obsessed with like a person or a thing or like an object. I don't know why I said thing. Well, unless you're talking about the hand, from the Addams Family, thing. I freaking love that franchise. I'm not gonna lie. I have been watching the I've been watching the Addams Family since I was like either 10 or 11, and I kid you not, I've even watched like some old shows like apparently before I was even born. I watched some of the old shows from like the 90s and I think it was the 60s, I think. But yeah, I I watched some of the old shows, the old Addams Family back then, and yeah, I just started. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. For me, I've also watched a show, an old show from like I think it was also from the 60s. It's called The Munsters. The Munsters, I think, where basically it's a show about like this father that's a Frankenstein character, and then there's like the wife, I think her name is like Lily or something, and she's like a vampire, and she has a niece who is like human, like just human. And then, and this is something that just doesn't make sense to me. So the husband is a Frankenstein character, the mother is a vampire, okay? They have a son. They have a son. Um, I forget what the son's name is, but their son is a werewolf. Their son is a werewolf. And I think there's like a grandfather in the show too, and he's also a vampire. He's like the wife's father, I think. And the only thing that's kind of like not making sense is how does a Frankenstein and a vampire have a werewolf for a child? I mean, the child's not even like a half vampire from what I understand. Um, yeah, it's I just didn't get it. However, though, there's also the one thing I don't get is how did the wife, Lily, have a niece who was like fully human, by the way, like actually just a human, not like a monster, not a vampire, not a Frankenstein, not nothing. Like apparently the mother Lily's niece is just a human, like just a human, like you and I. So that kind of, yeah, that really confused me. That really confused me. Like, I don't even know how that is possible. But then again, they also have like, but also the Frankenstein character Herman, I think that's his name, Herman. Herman and his wife Lily. Herman is a Frankenstein, Lily is a vampire, and their son is a werewolf. And that to me still doesn't make any sense. It's like, what were the writers thinking? Like I understand it was like, back then in like the 60s or like the 1960s or I'm guessing back in that decade, a lot of people were coming up with new ideas to, entertain people because apparently television was, still on the rise and a lot of television networks were still in black and white, from what I've also been told and understand. Um, yeah, the only thing though that I never got was what was the point of I never understood how I just never understood the shows like each of the characters and how the family member was able to have like one be a human, one be a vampire, one be a werewolf. I don't know. Also, how did a Frankenstein and how did Herman, who's basically Frankenstein, like I said, and Lily, who's a vampire, able to conceive a child and pop out a werewolf? I am so lost by that. The only thing though that kind of makes sense, that was able to still make sense in the show that I saw, was that the grandfather, Lily's father, is a vampire just like she is. So that to me makes sense. Okay. There's a father and daughter in the show that are both vampires. Okay, that to me makes sense. Okay, they're both father and daughter, they're both vampires. Very simple. But how does he end up with like two grandchildren, one being like fully human and the other one being a werewolf, when none of them, not even Lily's husband, was when Lily's husband is literally Frankenstein. Like, like I'm not saying like the show was bad. I'm not saying like the show was bad from watching it because it definitely was entertaining to see like a family dynamic like that. It's just that like how the family tree seemed to have like been set up. If you know what I mean. Like that to me is like, oh. Also, I am very sorry. It is just getting bright. It is just getting bright. Earlier today, it was like cloudy. It was like it wasn't this bright, I will tell you that. Hold on, I want to see if I can like move. Oh. And that people. Oh. The only problem is I don't like this angle. This angle kind of like I feel like is just too much. Yeah, it's just too much because the light is literally right there and you can literally see my ugly face. At least that's what I always call it. My face that's okay, I don't have a I don't have Prince Charming features, okay? I'm literally like this, okay? I am positive. But also do keep in mind, I never really like had that much uh confidence in my appearance growing up, so yeah. That is literally all I can say. Yeah. But anyways, continuing on with this little drawing here. Honestly though, I think that it turned out pretty okay, I guess. I'm just working on just trying to like make the details a little bit more better, I guess. But I will say this though, this is the first time I've ever like done a drawing that didn't really like take me like that much time. Normally, I know when it comes to drawing, it takes me, I don't know. Normally, when it comes to like a drawing, it takes me like a few extra minutes, or it takes me like almost half an hour. But yeah, this is definitely different for today, I will say that. Let's see, what else? So, hold on, I got a quick question to ask you. I got a quick question to ask you. So, which do you prefer to do? Do you like drawing or painting more? Okay. Do you like to draw more or paint? Okay. Because I know I have done both on this YouTube channel, on my YouTube channel. I have done both. Um, yeah, I just want to know like, what do you like doing more? Do you like to draw? Do you like to paint? And specifically, when you draw, do you just like to, make little sketches? Are you more into like, drawing details? Um, and with and what exactly would you say like your art style is? Like, are you more like into abstract art? Do you explore abstract art more, or do you like pay attention a lot to like details to the point where it almost looks very realistic? Like which are you? Do you prefer abstract or being realistic when it comes to like when you're drawing or painting? And also, what was like your first, the first time you've ever painted or draw? Do you have like a memory? Like I would like to know that. I would like to know that about you. Do you like, yeah, so like I said, do you like to draw more? Do you like to paint more? And if so, are you more into like abstract or being realistic? Let's see. Okay, I shade and make fictional characters. My style is like maybe being realistic. Okay, then, okay. So you're into drawing like people then, like maybe people, animals, stuff that's more like you know, real. Um, or like, cartoon characters or anime characters, I want to say, that is more like, more human than like monster or anything like that. Okay. Yeah, okay, yeah, so that makes sense. Yeah, and as you can tell with my art style, obviously I do not draw or paint actual people. I draw a lot of humanoids. So, yeah, and if you have been following me for a while, you know that I draw and sketch and paint mainly just humanoid figures because I don't know why. It's just my art style and I love it, okay? And I wouldn't trade it for the world or anything else like that. Let's see. What else? Nothing. Yeah, nothing ringing? What's ringing? Wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that, okay. Yeah. So this is just yeah, what I do. Anything that helps me stay creative, I mean, I'm happy with, okay? I'm happy with, and I would, it would not shock me in any way how different we are from each other because, like I said earlier, someone had commented that, that my art skills might be better than theirs. I am positive your art skills are much better than mine, okay? Let me be real. I am positive your art style or your artwork is much better than mine, okay? I mean, with mine, it really is just like, hmm, I don't know if like this is real or not or anything like that, but yeah. So yeah. Okay, I think to pretty much like I want to finish off this. I just want to like do something with like the shirt at the bottom, but check it out. This is what I got. It's nothing compared to your art. Yeah, I know. This is basically um a lot that I do. Like check it out. I have the whole sketchbook. Yeah. Oh wow, you know what's weird? I'm only like a few pages left until this sketchbook is empty. Yeah. So, I can't believe it. Not gonna lie, getting back into like drawing and all that is really like putting me in like such a better mood lately. I don't know how to explain it, but it just really has put me in like a much better mood for a lot of things. Yeah, I do believe that art is really helpful for like my mental health, and being creative does allow me to like just fully express myself, be who I am without, feeling like judged or anything. Because if you know me, if you know that in some of my live streams that I talk about, I do talk about how um, I struggled with like thinking like my artwork was never perfect. It was never like everyone else's. Everyone else was like I always assumed like they were like Picasso, and I compared myself to basically a like I would always say like a elementary school student could easily be better at me in painting and drawing and all that than than me. So, but then over the years, the more I got to like just let myself be myself and let out my own sketch pad and all that, I have been able to. Oh, this is not the one I was kidding. Wrong. Okay, this is why I also need to pay attention. Sorry. So I'm trying to like sketch in the shirt and I accidentally grabbed the wrong colored pencil. Yeah, so this is what I gotta do. I also gotta stay focused. Okay. Would you rather do draw or paint? Interesting question. Would I rather draw or paint? I'd rather draw or paint. I don't know. That question to me is like very, very interesting for a lot of reasons because I feel like with drawing though, like I'm able to like create something and like see if I can like figure out a way to like add my own little details to something. Whereas with painting, I know for painting I could also try to add in some details, but sometimes when I do paint though, the details don't exactly like come out the way I want, and it just ends up looking pretty funky to me. That is literally all I can say. But in I don't know, I'm kind of like caught between both. Sorry, I'm sharpening this pencil real quick. In this box that is called my trash can. Yeah, so it's hard for me to choose really between painting and drawing because I find them both I find them both like really help me like stay creative and just like, you know, they just help me stay creative, let me stay creative and, you know, in many different ways than, you know, the rest. I mean, I'm hopeful like that comes up with like an answer or something, but yeah. I think you asked me that because I asked you that. Art expresses your feelings and removes the bad ones. Yes, exactly. Art will always have like my heart. That is one thing I will always say. And I feel like everyone does say too. Oh, look, the lighting seems to be gone better. um, you're fine, thank you. Yeah, same. I have to go. Aww. Well, hopefully I can see you next time, next week on Saturday. So, yeah, well, you take care now and stay safe, okay? And also shout out to Sky Star R1U. Shout out to this person, okay? I hope you have a wonderful day. You take care now and stay safe, okay? Yeah. Yeah, let's see. What else? Okay. So, yeah, bye. You two all. Aww. Yeah. So, let's see. What exactly, should I do? Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to like figure out ways to like talk to still like keep my audience entertained. Okay. So definitely I will say this though. Okay. Sorry, I'm currently like trying to like fix up this little I don't know, like the bottom is just like not like turning out the way I want, but I do like how like the rest looks. So, yeah. Um Yeah. Wait, hold on. There is something. So, if you have known me for a while or you've been subscribed for a while, you know that I keep some paintings actually on my desk right here. Okay? I keep a few paintings on my desk right here. And recently when people have been coming into my bedroom, they've been seeing some of my artwork that I've done recently, specifically my paintings. And actually, there's one painting in particular. Hold on, I just need to organize all these for a moment. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. So this is one of them. I do believe I had shown this a few times. Yeah. So they talk about like how, you know, this one's a very interesting art piece and yeah. Oh, I always have this front and center because not gonna lie, this I feel like is just, you know, will always be like one of my masterpieces that I made. I don't know. Another one that a lot of people, I've even shown this on my live, is this painting right here. They say like there's like a lot of different meanings for this one. So, yeah. So like with this one, it could have like a lot of different meanings, but yeah. I think it's also a great piece that I made, and I'm very thankful to have made it. But yeah. Um, yeah, I do think it turned out pretty okay. Does the clock painting have any special meaning to you? Yes. So the clock painting, it's supposed to like represent like time slipping away. That's also why like I added like those little white dripping dots. It's supposed to like represent like time slowly slipping away. And the reason why it says like five, it's supposed to like so the little hand's supposed to be, I don't know if I have like the clock thing right, but it's supposed to be like 5 a.m. And specifically, what that time mean is basically that's supposed to be like that was around the time I was like born, around 5 o'clock, around 5 o'clock in the morning, on my birthday. So yeah, it's supposed to be like okay, at some time I was born sometime around 5 a.m. So I figured why not. And also 5/12 is also actually my birthday. May 12th. May 12th is my birthday. So not only does it represent like, 5/12 can be like can mean like 5 a.m. or obviously can also mean 5 p.m., but it represents around the time I was born, and 5/12 is also my birthday. So May 12th. And yeah, it's very interesting. That is literally a lot to say, for me at least. But yeah, I am pretty impressed with how it turned out. A lot of these paintings, though, that I do have, they were. Where do you get your inspiration from? So I normally get my inspiration from either from like a memory or a feeling I'm going through, or really though when it like just hits me like a wave. So yeah, so like with this one though, the reason why I had made this little drawing today that says obsessed is because I've been obsessed with watching a lot of crime videos lately, a lot of Dateline, and obviously I'm obsessed with those. I don't ask why, I'm just one of those people who really loves crime shows, and I'm obsessed with them. Like I'm always wondering, okay, I'm pretty sure the killer is that person or that person. I don't know. If you have ever watched crime shows and where like, there are scenes in the show or in the episode, and you try to figure, and you're like, okay, I'm pretty sure it was this person or that person, but yeah, so obsessed. Yeah, reason why I decided to say obsessed is because I'm obsessed with crime shows. Yeah. And this is basically, obviously, this wouldn't be like, this obviously isn't like my very well face or anything or like a detailed expression of my face, but this is definitely like an emotion I see every time like I see a new crime story pop up on my For You page, because I don't just, here's the thing though, I don't just watch crime shows on like a television. I also watch it on my phone. I watch it on my For You page, whether on TikTok or YouTube or Instagram. Honestly, anything that involves with crime, I'm like obsessed. So, and that is basically for today's inspiration. Obsessed. Um, yeah, so that also means that I am very aware in case there's like, I don't know, I guess you say like if I was ever surrounded by a crime scene, I'd be like, "Oh, I watched this reminds me of episode number and season of NCIS." And then I'm just like I'm so obsessed with what is going on. So, yeah. Or if you're like someone who's not like into crime shows, obviously, this could also mean like something else to you, like, something that you're obsessed with. Have you ever watched Unsolved Mysteries? No, I have not. I've heard of it. I just never watched the series before. Um, I'm sorry, I watch so many crime shows and videos everywhere that it's hard for me to like, you know, whenever there's like something new or like an old series of like a crime show that I never heard of, I mean, yeah, it's hard for me to. I mean, because it's, I don't know how to explain it. I mean, because almost every day there's like a new episode for me of like on certain crime shows or crime channels on YouTube or TikTok or anywhere on social media or TV or my phone. But yeah, so it's hard to like pace myself to watch one versus another, and then because then next thing I know, I'm just like accidentally like crossing my TV shows, which by the way has actually happened. I once got confused watching an episode of NCIS New York. I think it's New York. No, that's Law and Order. That's Law and Order. That's Law and Order. I forgot. That's Law and Order. I actually, when I was a kid, I accidentally confused both NCIS, an episode of NCIS, with an episode of Law and Order. And um yeah, basically I was just like, oh, because in my mind I was thinking, no, that show's on NCIS, not Law and Order. And then they said, hey, go look up the show then. Like, go type out on the computer or go on your phone and look it up. And then I'd look and it said, this episode was on Law and Order. And I'm like, wait, I thought it was on NCIS. And then I checked to see if, like, NCIS, I did, like, maybe an episode that was similar. But then, yeah, apparently they might have done some scenes because this is what I do know. What I do know is like with certain crime shows, sometimes the shows might have like similar like scenes, maybe like little similar scenes like happen, but almost all the time they're like very different episodes. So I don't know if like looking at like all those small scenes, I'm just like, oh. So yeah, that's why I always like have to make sure like when someone tells me about a new show, like a new crime show, I always have to like tell them I will watch it until like I finish this series first because I will 100% be confused of which um episode from which show that's from. Because, like I said, I once confused an episode that I thought was on NCIS, but actually was on Law and Order. So, yeah. But, anyways, here's today's drawing again. Um, I will have this. Oh, I will have this posted later today, so that way you can go and comment and tell me what you think and what you would have done differently. Um, yeah. So overall, yeah, right. There's a lot of crime shows out there. Yes, exactly. And it's very hard for me to like, because I am known to like not pace myself like at all when it comes to like watching crime shows. Like I always want to be like, oh, it's so obvious it is that person, okay? You just literally missed that person by like 10 minutes ago. Okay? But like I said, if you watch crime shows, you know what I'm talking about. But also you gotta make sure that like you don't actually like cross or like accidentally say the wrong or assume like this episode was from this show, which I know for a fact it doesn't just happen in like crime shows. It also happens in like like other shows like action shows or dramas or TV series. Well, yeah, TV series. So what we're talking about right now. I don't know why I said that, but yeah. Um, yeah, you ought to become a crime scene investigator. Maybe. You know what's weird? I feel like I'm the only person who doesn't mind like witnessing something like that because I feel like with all the shows I've watched, because like I said, I've watched NCIS when I was very little. Like, I think I was like 6 the first time. I was either 6 or 7 years old the first time I ever watched NCIS. And you know how like there are certain scenes that, are a little too like very too detailed, like specifically those scenes where I want to say when they're doing like the autopsy scenes and they have like the dead body of the deceased and it like, everything's like so detailed and you're just like, you know, a lot of kids my age would have probably like been like ugh, or like ah. Instead I was just like huh. Yeah. I was not a normal child, okay, let's just say that. but but yeah, I feel like I can definitely be tolerable about that as an adult. I don't know about everyone else, but me, abso-freaking-lutely, I would watch that. I would be able to like tolerate it, and also you're talking to someone who basically watches like a new crime show or video pretty much every day. But yeah. So, anyways, Criminal Minds would be a show to watch. Yes, I've definitely watched. I've only watched a few episodes of Criminal Minds. I haven't watched it in a while, so I'm gonna have to like somehow get back into watching that sometime soon. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to get back into watching Criminal Minds. Let's see, what else? Okay, so I think I am gonna end the live stream here in a few minutes, but there are a few things that I do want to say before I get off my live stream. So, yeah, like I said earlier, I will have this drawing posted later today, so that way you can look at it, comment, tell me what you think, what would you have done differently, and what would you name this piece. I also have some short videos that I'm going to be posting throughout the week, so make sure you are keeping an eye out for that. And I'm also working on like another little project, I guess. I don't know when it's gonna come out, but it'll be out soon, I promise. But yeah. Thank you very much for watching my live stream. I will be live again this Saturday, so make sure that you hit the bell notifications so you can be notified when I go live. If you are new here, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and if you enjoy this live stream, please hit the like button wherever it's at. And yeah, and thank you to everyone who has shown up on my live stream for the day. And as always, I'm gonna like go through like I guess you can say like the top 5 people who showed up on my live stream. At number 1, we have Servant of God. At number 2, we have Skylar Star R1U. At number 3, we have Hello, It's Me. Okay. At number 4, we have Chris. And at number 5, we have Tasha. Yep. Thank you all so much. Oh, and also a shout out to Stray Kids Lover. Shout out to Stray Kids Lover 06E. Okay? Shout out to you. I hope you have a wonderful day. Okay? Thank you so much for joining my live stream. I'll be live again this Saturday, so make sure you hit the bell notifications, okay? And I always go live around 3 p.m. Eastern Time here in the US, okay? Thank you, and as always, take care, stay safe, and I love you. Mwah. Bye.